All right, let's talk about something you've probably walked past 100 times in your own home. A tiny little insignificant crack in the caulk. It seems like nothing, right? But as we're about to find out, that tiny little line could actually be the start of a seriously expensive problem. Come on, we've all said this, right? You see that little bit of peeling sealant around the bathtub or window frame and you think, it's fine. I'll get to it eventually. It feels totally harmless, but honestly, that's a pretty dangerous assumption to make. And that's the real kicker, isn't it? Because while you're putting it off, something else is happening. Something behind the scenes, silently, where you can't see it. So let's really dig into what's at stake here. To really get why this is such a big deal, we first have to understand the job this stuff actually does. It's not just there to make things look neat and tidy. It's a critical piece of your home's protective shield. Yeah, we see it as just a clean white line, but its real purpose is to be a barrier. It's like the silent guardian that stands between a nice, dry, healthy wall and a slow, steady trickle of moisture. The second that seal breaks, your home's entire first line of defense is officially down. And this is where the story starts to get a little scary. See, the real danger isn't the crack itself, it's what gets through it. The damage builds up where you can't see it, turning a small, easy problem into a huge, expensive disaster. I love this because it perfectly breaks down what I call the 4 horsemen of failing caulk. It's never just one thing. First, water gets in, and that causes rot. Then, all that dampness creates a perfect home for mold. Next thing you know, your surfaces start to warp and the paint peels away. And to top it all off, if the gap is near a window or a door, your energy bills just start creeping up. It's a total chain reaction. Let's just focus on that mold for a second, because this is where it stops being about your house and starts being about your health. That hidden moisture creates the perfect little incubator for mold, which can trigger allergies and cause some really serious health risks, especially if you've got kids or elderly family members at home. And beyond that, it's a massive red flag if you ever try to sell, hitting your home's value hard. So, we've talked about the damage, but what does this actually look like in dollars and cents? This is where the real cost of putting things off becomes, painfully clear. I mean, this slide right here tells the whole story. On one hand, you've got a proactive, professional recaulking job that might run you about $150. On the other hand, you have the cost of ignoring it, repairs that could easily hit $4,000, maybe even more. That difference is just staggering. And it all starts with that one tiny crack we decided to deal with later. Okay, so right about now, a lot of us are thinking, fine, I get it. I'll just go grab a tube of caulk from the hardware store and fix it myself this weekend. And, that sounds like a good idea, but this is a classic trap, and honestly, it usually just makes the problem worse. This is what happens 9 times out of 10. You put a new layer right on top of the old, cracked one. But what you're actually doing is creating a seal over the moisture and mold that's already in there. The new stuff can't bond right, and before you know it, it's peeling away, and you are right back where you started. Only now, the problem is even more dug in. So if the quick fix is a no-go, what's the right way to handle it? Well, let's look at the professional difference. It's not just about squirting some stuff into a gap. It's about a proper process that guarantees a seal that's going to last and actually protect your home. See, a pro is methodical. First, they remove every single bit of the old caulk, because you can't build something new on a foundation that's already failing. Then, they clean and treat the surface to kill any mold that's already there. Only then do they apply a new, precise speed of high-quality sealant, and they finish with a quality check. Every single step here is crucial for a seal that actually does its job. And listen, it's not just about how you do it, it's about what you use. For places like bathrooms and kitchens, you absolutely need a high-grade, anti-fungal silicone that's totally waterproof and flexible enough to expand and contract with the temperature. If you use the wrong product, you're pretty much guaranteeing it's going to fail. All right, now that you're armed with all this knowledge, where should you actually be looking? Let's go on a quick little inspection tour of your own home. These right here are the hot spots. Bathrooms and kitchens are the obvious ones, sure, but don't forget the outside of your windows and doors. That's where drafts and rain sneak in. And here's one people almost always miss: the baseboards in wet areas like your bathroom and laundry room. Moisture just loves to hide out down there. And don't worry, this isn't something you have to do every weekend. Here's a super simple schedule to keep in mind. Just give those high moisture spots, like your shower, a quick look every year or so. For windows and doors, checking them every couple of years is a great rule of thumb. It's literally a few minutes of your time that can save you a world of hurt down the road. We really need to reframe this. Stop thinking of it as just another chore and start seeing it for what it is, an investment. For a tiny cost, you're actively preventing thousands of dollars in damage, protecting your family's health, and preserving the value of your biggest asset. It's probably one of the smartest, simplest moves you can make as a homeowner.
I love this. So simple, so true. That's the whole game right there. If you can keep the water on the outside where it belongs, you keep the structural integrity and the financial value on the inside.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. After everything we've looked at, from hidden mold to those jaw-dropping repair bills, how confident are you really in those little seals around your home? Maybe that whole "I'll deal with it later" plan needs an update. Maybe later should be this weekend. All right,